My game is like if Cult of the Lamb and Vampire Survivors had a baby and named it Cast Out Colony. You can build your little colony, put your villagers to work, go fight hordes of monsters, get eaten, and repeat. In its current state, players really seem to enjoy it.
Looks good. It's a bug roguelike, dude. I like that. I like that a lot.
But it always wasn't like that. To really understand where we are now, let me go back a little bit and explain some things. It's 16 months into development, and we've opted into Steam Next Fest. Our target release date is in roughly 2 months, and it's best practice to opt into the Next Fest closest to your release. For us, it was a bittersweet fest because our team learned a lot about our game. Unfortunately, it was all negative. Essentially, it was a lot of, this game is missing something or something doesn't feel right. And in some cases, we got stuff like this.
This is stupid. This is very bad. This is stupid. Come on. So annoying. So The fact that you have to fight in the colony, I think that's a very bad idea.
We even had people fill out surveys telling us that our game wasn't even worth a penny. At the time, the player would build their colony and then attempt to survive in it. It was a really cool concept that we thought could add a level of strategy to the genre, with players building traps and barricades. The problem we kept running into throughout development was that players didn't want to build a colony, which was one of the main structures of the game. To rectify this, we gave the player a currency bonus and decreased enemy speeds based on the colony size, as well as major buildings giving the player stat boosts. After more testing, we realized that didn't help. No matter what we tried to do to encourage players to build their colony, they ultimately viewed it as a hindrance to their survival. We were in deep doo-doo from a game design standpoint, and we needed to make a change immediately. After Next Fest was over, my team and I had a meeting that lasted probably at least half the day. We tore our own game to pieces, rewatched the streams of people that didn't enjoy the game to identify issues,
So frustrating.
played other games like ours to see what we liked and what we didn't like, read reviews on those games to see what players liked and didn't like, and got our growing community involved in the conversation. We took a giant flowchart and we heavily condensed it, breaking it into 2 phases: colony and combat. We looked at how those 2 phases can play into each other, with the colony having a major effect in your combat. Now, instead of fighting in the colony, we switched over to separate areas that we started calling arenas. These arenas are smaller maps where the player won't be able to run away as easily, which is something we saw happen very often in the colony due to the map size. Most bullet heaven games have an extremely slow character with even slower enemies, but they are numerous. It gives the player that sense of
impending doom.
Our characters are faster by default than some of the other bullet heaven games like Vampire Survivors, and we wanted to play into that a little bit and sped up all of our enemies. Now, instead of a slow
Impending doom.
it became a game to see how fast the player can process and react. After some tinkering, we felt that the game was in a really good state, and we felt like we were heading in the right direction. We were already doing a lot of different things in the colony that would help play into the combat, but one thing that I thought would be really cool and help give that sense of community in the colony was to take the NPCs that were in the shops and help them, or have them assist you. That's what I meant to say, have them assist you in the arena. I drafted up a little pitch, brought it to the team, and we decided to go for it. There was something charming about seeing these little bugs help you destroy your enemies. Last thing we added into the game was a cleanup system. During Steam Next Fest, the colony was this giant empty plots for the players to build on. We felt like giving players that much room at the start maybe might have been too overwhelming, and we wanted to slowly have them work their way to expand. Of course, taking inspiration from games like Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley, when the player first arrives to their colony, the game procedurally generates hundreds of items that need to be cleaned up. Some of the items can't be cleaned up right away, and they'll have to get other villagers to help them clean up those items, again, bringing a community aspect to the colony. I personally really love this kind of stuff in games because I really get a real sense of accomplishment that I've cleared out this whole entire section of my map and I can build whatever I want on it. And it turns out other people really liked it too. After spending a month completely revamping the game, we got the game in the hands of our playtesters. And they really enjoyed it. It felt like we finally found that spark for our game, and the town building portion really mixed well with the bullet heaven aspects. We spent the next month polishing up what we had and released our game in early access to the world, and it was a complete 180 from the response we received during Next Fest. We went from having a game that really nobody even liked or even enjoyed, to a game that's getting a lot of positivity in its reviews, in its videos, in video comments. The amount of positivity that this game has been getting has been absolutely heartwarming. We've worked so freaking hard on this game, so it's nice to see everything come together and players really enjoy it. We're getting fan art, somebody made a tier list for our characters. It's just really nice to see players enjoying something that we've made. I hope this video is a good lesson in listening to your players, even if they don't know that they're testing your game for you. Granted, not all feedback will need to be applied to your game, and you'll really need to be kind of smart about sifting through the legitimate concerns about your game, which I have a secret. Come here. If a lot of people are talking about it, it's probably an issue. And if it's worth the time to change in your game. For us, I had to change systems that were in our game for over a year and add completely new mechanics and hope that it worked. Now that we're through it, at least I know it was worth the time and effort. With all that said, if you made it here, go check out our game for yourself. And maybe, I don't know, if you like the video, you subscribe and you leave a comment telling me you want more of these videos, because I can justify doing it if you do, because every time I upload a video, I actually lose subscribers, because the majority of my subscribers subscribed in like 2017 when a Zelda hacking video popped off and they don't really care what I do now? Maybe?